better and better. What can't we do in a place like this?
I solved our problem of the videos being too short. Just now I may have fallen back into the same trap of making them too long. Sorry, guys. Once we've finished doing some armor tweaks, spending Inquisition points, and starting up some War Table quests, we're gonna head back. Once we find Alistair, maybe we can figure out what's going on with the Wardens and Crithius.
I've arranged an accord between the Marquis and the Dowager. Wonder of wonders. Perhaps they can be useful to us after all.
Cole's friends were successfully deployed, and both they and he are happy about it. Real fast before we head back, these are the Mage Specialization Trainers. Each class has their own trainers and their own special abilities.
Hold and declare, Inquisitor.
What do you mean?
I ask your intent. I was summoned to oversee training, and I would know my charge. I am your commander in this matter. Commander Helene.
This isn't a formal position. Why treat it so seriously?
Because that is what it requires and deserves, recruit. I teach the skills of the Knight Enchanter. It is a rank. It is a life. Understanding its hierarchy is the first step. You already know this. You were not made Inquisitor and then taught to lead. I will teach you how to rise to your place, how to join your warriors, spectral blade in hand, how to command the ranks while standing beside them. Are you ready?
Commander is a title I associate with human forces.
Knight Enchanter has roots in Elven tradition, but it has utility in every tradition. There are no borders for the mage who wields a spectral blade. There is respect, and there is fear.
Who granted your rank? What forces have you served with?
I cannot say.
Then how do I know you're capable?
You know because I have told you, and I will teach you the same authority.
I'm ready to learn what you know.
Then we will begin the simple steps, recruit. And we shall see what heights you reach. You have a task. A simple construction. Go, learn, and return. Soon you will lead from the front. Soon you will command.
Hello? Yes, hello. I am your trainer.
Yes?
I am your trainer.
You said that.
Good, because it has been a long journey. The cause is just, and if we don't start soon, you won't have time to learn. I am your trainer.
You seem a little scattered.
It's nothing. I'm just a little fatigued. It's nothing. Thank you. I was charged with studying the breach and the subsequent rifts to discover how they affected traditional disciplines. I was enthralled. So were the 19 others, I presume. They're dead. They learnt the power, but couldn't wield it. Rift Mage Inquisitor. The forces are incredible. And with training, you will be incredible. I know how not to die, and I can teach it. It's incredible.
The rifts were triggered by the breach. There's already a school of magic.
A school? No. Yes. Sort of. The holes in the veil flooded us with magic, and that can be used. It changed some rules, modified them, enough that the careless inverted themselves, old forces in new forms. Others will try, their results will vary, but you will have the best instruction. Because your trainer has already taken the risk. The price has been paid.
Who charged you with studying magic from the rifts?
The Mages Collective. I did not just say that. Yes, I did say it, and we're proud to help. We are nimble, we could move quickly and commit people to this rift magic. Many people. Their lives made it stable and safe. We're very proud.
You didn't mention your name.
I am your trainer.
That isn't a name.
It is what I am. I try very hard to remember that much. There is so much else to keep in mind. Understand, Inquisitor, that I have learnt it all very quickly, so you do not have to.
Very well. Show me how this should go.
It goes places you have been, and some you have not. That is necessary, so the price is not paid twice. Follow the instruction, and you will know the way. You'll understand the power. Then, I'll show you more. After all, I am your trainer.
Inquisitor, I heard a tapping. My skills are required.
And you are?
Speaker Vius Anaxas. I have come from Navarra as a voice for the dead. Welcome them, and they will serve your cause.
Excuse me? You speak for who?
The dead. Many assume that they have misheard. I am of the Mortalitazi. We tend to those who have passed and revere their lives by honoring them in death. And when the living are threatened, we give the bodies of the dead physical purpose once more. Necromancy, Inquisitor. The dead will serve for you.
You're saying you can bring the dead back to life?
Of course not. The souls of our departed cross the fade to be with the Maker. The body is left empty.
Then, what is it that you do?
In the Grand Necropolis, we would usher in a displaced spirit of the Fade, eliminating imbalance. But this is war. Every battlefield has one thing in abundance: death. I turn the bodies of enemies into weapons against them. We do not manipulate the living. We make use of the dead.
You're a mage who manipulates life. How is this not blood magic?
Blood magic consumes life. It tears at the living to manipulate and destroy. It is a cancer among our kind. We honor life by venerating the dead. We give their mortal form purpose. In combat, perhaps only for a few moments, but that is still more than they had. More than opposing you normally allows.
What is a Mortalitazi?
We are the caretakers of the Grand Necropolis of Navarra. For the treasured relative, we usher a spirit of the Fade into the void of their mortal form. It honors them both. But when enemies threaten the living, we turn death into a weapon of war, instead of merely the result.
I'm ready to learn what you know.
Then your journey begins as others end. The steps are small, but vital. There is instruction and veneration. Then you'll return. We shall see what this life holds for you.
Not sure which one I'm going to go with right now, but you don't have to decide right away. Now, back to Crestwood.
Shall we see if Hawk and this Warden ally are waiting inside the cave?
Glad you made it. I just got here myself. My contact with the Wardens should be at the back of the cave.
He's not the only warden around here. It's a good thing his friends didn't find him in Crestwood.
Yes, I saw them earlier. They've been told he's a traitor in order to capture or kill him. How much blood is shed by good men following bad orders?
This sign says that this was being used by Tevinter slavers, and that while it's possible the Grey Warden politely asked them to leave, the bloodstains indicate otherwise.
It's just us. I brought the Inquisitor.
I'm Alistair. It's an honor to meet you, Inquisitor, though I wish it were someplace a bit nicer.
Are you the Alistair who fought the Archdemon with the hero of Ferelden?
I need to change my name. Yes, that was me. War, betrayal, dark spawn, all lots of fun. and made for excellent stories, I'm sure. Nobody cares about that anymore. I answer to Warden Commander Clarel now, like everyone else.
Most of you Wardens disappear. Then I run into a Darkspawn Magister named Corypheus. Do you think that one might have something to do with the other?
When Hawk killed Corypheus, the Wardens thought the matter resolved. But archdemons don't die from simple injury. I feared Corypheus might have the same power, so I started to investigate. I found hints, but no proof. And then, not long after, every warden in Orlais began to hear the calling.
Maker, why didn't you tell me?
It was a secret. A very dangerous one. I tried to actually keep a few of my oaths to the Wardens.
Is the calling some sort of Grey Warden ritual?
Well, Wardens are tied to the Darkspawn. We're connected somehow. And eventually that connection poisons you. You get bad dreams, and then you start to hear the music. It calls to you, quiet at first. And then, so loud, you can't bear it. At that point, you say farewell and go into the deep roads to die fighting. In death, sacrifice.
And every Grey Warden in Orlais is hearing that right now. They think they're dying.
Yes, I think Corypheus caused this somehow. If all the Wardens die, who will stop the next blight? That's what has them so terrified.
So, Corypheus isn't controlling them. He's bluffing them with this calling. And they're falling for it.
Is the calling they're hearing real, or is Corypheus mimicking it somehow?
I have no idea. Before all this, I'd barely heard of Corypheus. I didn't even know he was supposed to be a Magister until I started digging around. But right now, all that matters is the Wardens are acting like they're going to die.
You said all the Wardens are hearing the calling. Does that include you?
Unfortunately, yes. When I'm talking or fighting, I can almost ignore it. But whenever things are quiet, I can hear it. It's like a song you can't get out of your head. Damned annoying, frankly.
How can Corypheus make all these Wardens hear the calling?
I have no idea. I suppose it's part of what he is. Corypheus is tied to the Blight, and not just a product of it like most Darkspawn. Wardens are connected to the Darkspawn too. That's how he seems able to control Wardens who get too close to him. And that's likely what he's doing here as well. Somehow.
So the Wardens think they're dying and have stopped thinking clearly. That won't go well.
I saw what a Blight did to Ferelden. If Wardens hadn't stopped it, there'd be no more Thedas. Warden Commander Clarel proposed some drastic things, blood magic and such, to prevent further blights before we die. I protested. Maybe too loudly. And Clarel sent guards and... well, here I am. Wardens were gathering here, in the western approach. It's an old Tevinter ritual tower. I'm going to investigate. I could use some help.
Let's go.
We should get to that ritual tower in the western approach. Ideally before it lives up to its name.
Was the hero of Ferelden involved in all this?
No. She left before any of this began. A mission of her own. Something personal. We Wardens don't live that long. The calling I spoke of, the real one before it went crazy. Eventually, it killed her. Thing is, when we killed the archdemon, we discovered that might not be as set in stone as we thought. She's searching for a way to end the curse. For us both. Maybe for us all.
The way you talk about her, I'm surprised you aren't still together.
Oh, there was a discussion, believe me. Someone had to look into the rumors about Corypheus. We didn't know what was involved at the time. She was going to stay to help, but we had a lead that couldn't wait. One of us had to go. And when I'm done here, we'll be together again. Forever this time.
How can the calling be stopped? Is that actually possible?
Grand Enchanter Fiona was once a warden, so I'm told, but had the taint completely drawn out of her. And there was also a warden named Avernus, who extended his life far beyond what should have been possible. So we looked into it. We weren't going to give up without a fight. And that's when we found a rumor that meant going deep into the West. It wasn't much, but we've done more with less. My love will find a way. I'm certain of it.
Have you been happy with her in the years since the Blight?
Happier than I ever dreamed possible. She's more than I deserve. And I hope I make her days easier as well. She was rebuilding the Wardens in Ferelden while I hunted Darkspawn left over from the Blight. It was hard work for both of us. But we always had each other.
If she's been looking for a way to stop the calling, perhaps she could help us.
I'll give the information to your people in the war room. If nothing else, I'd like to warn her about Corypheus.
The first time he said that they'd been happy together, I pretty much squeed at my computer.
You were there, weren't you? You helped fight the Archdemon.
I'm going to be answering that question for the rest of my life. Yes, I was there. It was big. The hero of Ferelden was brave. But that was 10 years ago. What have you done for us lately, Alistair? New times. New problems.
What's it like, being a warden?
Oh, it's wonderful. You get fresh peaches delivered every morning, first choice of local village girls, and bunnies too. Well, maybe it's not that. Not even close to that. I watched my brothers die at Ostagar soon after I joined. I never thought I'd see Wardens kill themselves.
Why were the Wardens trying to kill you?
When Clarel started talking blood magic and demons to deal with the calling, I said it wasn't a good idea. First, it was awkward silences, some coughing. But when I mentioned Corypheus, things really went wild. The Warden mages said I was interfering, called me a traitor. Funny how often that happens to me.
You mentioned Warden Commander Clarel. Is she behind this?
She's the one who summoned me and the other Wardens to Orlais when we started hearing the calling. I don't know her well. She's a mage. Smart, careful, determined. The sort of mage the Templars told me to keep a close watch over. Makes her the best kind of warden, or at least I would have thought so. Maybe the Templars aren't wrong about everything.
Do you think she's helping Corypheus willingly, or was she duped?
Clarel would never serve something that looks like a Darkspawn willingly. I heard about an advisor of some kind. Maybe we'll learn more at the Western Approach.
Corypheus was held in a warden prison, right? So the Wardens should know all about him.
You'd think the Wardens would share information with each other, but they're really big on keeping secrets. Maybe they think some knowledge is too dangerous, I don't know. I only found out about Corypheus after I started digging for information. Even then, it wasn't much. For most Wardens, he'd be nothing more than an old legend dead long ago. If they knew of him at all.
We'll talk later.
Need something else?
We'll talk later.
I heard what he said. Hopefully we'll find some answers in the Western Approach. Though I fear what those answers will be. I've seen too much blood magic to ever trust where it leads.
Smirking again, like in that fight before. What's so funny?
The simplest spell had you white as a sheet. I've shrugged off worse in practice.
Well, sorry I'm scared of the stuff I've been warned about my whole life, like most people who aren't seekers.
I apologize. I could help if you're willing.
No, I have things to do. You can help by standing in front of me.
That I can do.
Back to Skyhold to track down that fortress. Also, talk to a few companions.
Corypheus is back. Oh, shit.
You said he was a Darkspawn, or a Magister. What is he really?
I'm not sure. I don't think Corypheus really knows either. He's definitely a Darkspawn, but when we found him, it was pretty obvious he hadn't heard that. He thinks he's a Magister, a priest of Dumat, in fact. He says he broke into the Golden City, like in the Chantry tale.
Honestly, I'd rather fight an ancient Darkspawn with a pet archdemon than deal with that hole in the sky. At least you can kill Darkspawn.
We didn't just think Corypheus was dead. He was dead. No pulse, no breath, full of stab wounds. There wasn't a lot of room for doubt. It makes me wonder. I thought the Wardens imprisoned Corypheus to use him. Maybe they did it because he can't be killed.
How did you and Hawke even wind up in a Grey Warden prison for ancient Darkspawn?
Corypheus sent people after Hawke. He actually got control of an entire Carta clan. Made them drink Darkspawn blood. Weird shit. We tracked the Carta to an old dwarven fort or something in the mountains. Of course, it turned out to be a trap. They needed Hawke's blood to open the locks holding Corypheus, and they drew us into the prison to get it.
Let's hope Corypheus just turns out to be really good at playing dead.
That makes two of us. Maker's breath, what have I let loose?
You had nothing to do with this, Varric.
I was the one who led Hawke to Corypheus. If I hadn't tracked the Carta to that ruin. But you've got more important things to do than listen to me worry. Just let me know when you want something shot.
What did Sir Blackwall say?
He says so long as we only threaten the Warden's right of conscription without invoking it.
Please, thank him for me. It is useful to slip into negotiations now and then.
And what else did Lady Forsythia say?
That she'd rather drown herself than help the Inquisition.
Anything else? She said she'd have us flogged alive if we allied with her brother.
That does sound like her.
Cheer up, Josie. We at least have her attention.
You always do find the brighter side of things.
We are in the midst of cementing an alliance with Lady Forsythia of Navarra, your worship. It's become a somewhat delicate task.
Should I post more guards outside your room?
That should be unnecessary, Inquisitor. I dissuaded her from sending soldiers when she learned we'd struck an accord with a brother she's feuding with. Lady Forsythia simply employs a colorful manner of speech.
You're rather good-natured about threats of death and dismemberment.
They are chiefly bluster, Inquisitor. Most of them. But I confess I do miss my staff from the embassy in Antiva. It was always useful to discuss the day's visitors with them.
I have time if you'd like to review things with me.
I wouldn't wish to impose.
If it were imposing, I wouldn't have offered.
Well, I admit there are a few potential alliances it would be good to discuss. Right on the parlor floor, in front of everyone at the soiree. Who does such a thing in front of their guests?
The Duke of Kellington, apparently.
And then there's Cole's lurking. It frightens our guests half to death. Lord Jennar still won't respond to our letters. And Sarah, can she not find a single overshirt with that mustard stains on it? Then there's Dorian. The man refuses to take anything seriously unless it suits its whim. Not to mention... Oh goodness. Have we been here an hour already?
2.5 hours, I think. But no one's counting.
Oh, dear. I didn't intend to go on for so long. You must think me quite the gossip.
No one else here has your experience, Josephine. Or your stories.
I'll try to curtail their length next time. But I leave feeling less troubled than I have in weeks.
The warden you brought to Skyhold, his name is Alistair?
Yes. Didn't you meet him?
No, there's no point in that now. He seems a good man.
I couldn't say.
It's not important. I'm simply musing on the clever tricks the Maker plays.
If folks want to Google Fiona and Alistair to see why she asked about him, you might enjoy that.
Finally died. It was a blessing, really. He's been in so much pain since Haven. He was out of his mind at the end. Smiled, said he smelled his mother's turnip stew, and slipped away.
First missing turnips. Now a dying soldier is comforted by the smell of turnips. Could these things be related? On to the western approach and the Wardens.
Did you see the message I sent?
Visitor, welcome to the western approach. We've sighted Warden activity to the southwest, but no one's been close enough to figure out what they're doing. Between the sandstorms and the vicious wildlife, we haven't made it far out here. One of my men got too close to a poison hot spring and gave me a slightly delirious report of a high dragon flying overhead. In short, this might just be the worst place in the entire world. Be careful out there.
Are you worried about me?
Someone has to be. And try not to die. I don't want to deliver that report to Skyhold. We intercepted a Venatori messenger and, persuaded him to give up the orders he was carrying. We have them here. This entire place. It just feels like something's not right. Be careful.
Glad you could make it. We've seen lights coming from the tower.
It has to be blood magic. I hope we can stop them before more people get hurt. You take point. I'll guard your backs.
Wait! No.
Warden Commander Clarel's orders were clear.
This is wrong.
Remember your oath. In war, victory. In peace, vigilance. In death,
I'm sorry.
sacrifice. Good. Now bind them just as I showed you. Inquisitor, what an unexpected pleasure. Lord Livius Erimond of Virantium, at your service.
I'm guessing you're not a warden?
But you are. The one Clarel let slip. And you found the Inquisitor and came to stop me. Shall we see how that goes?
It looks like you've already done some of my work for me.
What, him? We simply needed his blood. Oh, were you hoping to garner sympathy? Maybe make the Wardens feel a bit of remorse? Wardens, hands up! Hands down.
Corypheus has enslaved them.
They did this to themselves. You see, the calling had the Wardens terrified. They looked everywhere for help.
Including Tevinter.
Yes, and since it was my master who put the calling into their little heads, we in the Venatori were prepared. I went to Clarel full of sympathy, and together we came up with a plan. raise a demon army, march into the deep roads, and kill the old gods before they wake.
Ah, I was wondering when the demon army would show up.
You knew about it, did you? Well then, here you are. Sadly for the Wardens, the binding ritual I taught their mages has a side effect. They are now my master's slaves. This was a test. Once the rest of the Wardens complete the ritual, the army will conquer Thedas.
So Corypheus influenced the Wardens and made them do this ritual.
Made them? No! Everything you see here, the blood sacrifices to bind the demons, the Wardens did it of their own free will. Fear is a very good motivator, and they were very afraid. You should have seen Clarel agonize over the decision. Burdens of command, I suppose.
Why would the Wardens try to kill the old gods?
A blight happens when dark spawn find an old god and corrupt it into an archdemon. If someone fought through the deep roads and killed the old gods before they could be corrupted... Poof! No more blights. Ever. The Wardens sacrificed their lives and saved the world. Although I fear history will remember them a little differently now.
Why would Clarel risk using demons?
Demons need no food, no rest, no healing. Once bound, they will never retreat, never question orders. They are the perfect army to fight through the deep roads. Or across Olay. Now they are bound to my master.
Do you really want to see the world fall to the Blight? What do you get out of this?
The Elder One commands the Blight. He is not commanded by it, like the mindless Darkspawn. The Blight is not unstoppable or uncontrollable. It is simply a tool.
He's a tool.
As for me, while the Elder One rules from the Golden City, we, the Venatori, will be his god-kings here in the world.
You think you can stand against me with just demons and a Fade Rift? Did Corypheus not mention what I did to the Breach?
He did. He also noted what he did to you at Haven. The Elder One showed me how to deal with you in the event you were foolish enough to interfere again. That mark you bear, the anchor that lets you pass safely through the veil, you stole that from my master. He's been forced to seek other ways to access the Fade. When I bring him your head, his gratitude will be... Ah! Kill them!
They refuse to listen to reason.
You were right. Thanks to the ritual, the Warden mages are enslaved to Corypheus.
And the Warden warriors? Of course. Sacrificed in the ritual. What a waste.
Human sacrifice, demon summoning. Who looks at this and thinks it's a good idea?
The fearful and the foolish.
Hawk, they made a mistake, but they thought it was necessary.
All blood mages do. Everyone has a story they tell themselves to justify bad decisions. And it never matters. In the end, you are always alone with your actions.
I may know where the Wardens are. Eramond fled that way. There's an abandoned Warden fortress in that direction. Adamant.
I guess they didn't want to summon a demon army out in public.
The Warden and I will scout out Adamant and confirm that the other Wardens are there. We'll meet you back at Skyhold.
Shall we knock?
Gladly.
I'm capturing this fortress for a couple reasons. One, it's there and I like to capture fortresses. Two, we need a bunch of power for the missions that we are about to go on. And three, it drops a piece of loot that I really like. Also, I love that when you beat down the door, it turns into sad splinters. This is the big boss of the fortress. We've taken down everybody else but him.
I join your glory.
We should bring in our forces to occupy the castle.
And that, the kitty's collar, is what I wanted. I realize it sounds ridiculous, but if you are wearing that and you die, you have a 75% chance of being rezzed. Particularly helpful when you're playing a rogue, but still good when you're playing a mage.
Inquisitor, you're early. We've barely been set up a week. I have a patrol out at the moment. Some of the men cited darkspawn in the area. I have reports that bandits have taken up squatting in the fortress the Wardens abandoned. We're reasonably well entrenched here, but the keep's water supply has been problematic. It's causing delays. I'll prepare the troops for inspection at once.
Report. What's the situation in the Warden's fortress?
Bandits moved in. Worse than quillbacks, if you ask me. They're holed up in there, and using it as a base to strike at our supply caravans. Blasted scavengers.
What's wrong with the water supply?
The fort's well is full of garbage. Blasted Venatori threw corpses in there. There's an oasis nearby, but a Vargist claimed it. Doing a decent job of keeping us away, too. 4 soldiers have already fallen to venom and claws. We'll need reinforcements to drive the monster out.
What can you tell me about the darkspawn in the area?
The Darkspawn seem to have emerged since we took the keep. I've warned the troops not to engage unless absolutely necessary. We don't need a blight in the ranks. We have to find whatever hole the monsters came from and seal it.
We haven't met, have we? What's your name, soldier? Where have you served?
I beg your pardon, Inquisitor. Knight Captain Rylan at your service. I served with the Templars in Starkhaven until they all ran off to the hills, barking at the moon. Commander Cullen offered me a job, and I was glad to do anything to help stop all this madness.
What's your duties here, Captain?
I am Commander Cullen's second-in-command. As such, I handle logistics for many of our more high-risk missions. I also coordinate reports for the commander from agents out in the field.
If you were in Starkhaven, how do you know Cullen?
After Kirkwall exploded, Starkhaven sent aid. Rubble fell on much of the city. A lot of people were homeless or trapped in collapsed buildings. I coordinated rescue efforts, and met Cullen while he was trying to command what was left of Kirkwall's Templars.
You didn't want to leave the Chantry with the others of your order?
Sacred duties are all well and good, but someone needs to do real work now and then. If the barracks are on fire, I'm going for water, not standing around smiting the ash for heresy. Ah, respectfully speaking, of course, Inquisitor.
How is the Inquisition treating you so far, Captain?
It's good work. Some of it's a touch batty, but I'm always glad to be doing something useful, Inquisitor. There's no shortage of things that need repaired, shored up, or just a good bucket of water dumped on them.
Carry on, Captain.
Yes, Inquisitor.
We're investigating the darkspawn that have been appearing in the area, trying to see if we can get to their origin.
The air is poison. We can't get through. The darkspawn got through. I'll have to see what our people at Skyhold can do.
And for one of our last little bits, I have been picking up research supplies as loot in fights, so we are going to go and turn those in and meet the professor that those research supplies are for.
Visitors? Thank the Maker. It's been so long since I've spoken to anyone. Have you come to observe the wildlife too?
Who are you? What are you doing out here?
I am Frédéric of Serrault, foremost researcher of draconology in Orlais. I came here with an expedition from the university. But the others are all missing, and our work has been halted. White Claw raiders have made off with much of our supplies. You will help me reclaim the equipment, will you not? You will champion the advancement of science.
You're a scholar. What can you tell me about this region?
The Western Approach is a remarkable place, as you are no doubt aware. Many magnificent creatures make their home here. Vargists, dragons, phoenixes. They thrive where few others can. The land was poisoned by the Second Blight. The Warden Fortress has stood since that time. Before the Blight, the ancient Imperium ruled here. Actually, I saw some Tevinters recently. Studying the runes, perhaps.
The rest of your team went missing, and there are raiders all over the area. Should you be here alone?
I don't know what happened to the rest of the expedition, but the raiders have left me completely undisturbed. I have also seen Grey Wardens and strangers in odd black clothing, but they all ignore my presence completely.
Tell me about yourself.
I am a professor at the University of Orlais. I have made it my life's work to write the definitive monograph on the hunting habits of dragons and their closest kin. On this trip alone, I have produced 20 scrolls of notes. More scholarship than has ever been done on the Southern Vargist. But my hope, my great ambition, is to observe the abyssal high dragon taking her prey. A sight no scholar has ever recorded.
I have the supplies you were waiting for right here.
Surely the Maker himself sent you. You haven't encountered the other researchers, have you? Jeannette? Marcus? Etienne?
I'm afraid they're probably all dead.
Then it is doubly important that I finish our work. That their sacrifice not be in vain. Now that I have my recipes back, I'll be able to concoct a bait the High Dragon cannot resist. I have most of what I need. But I still need to gather quillback intestines and a phoenix's tail feather.
You study dragons. I'd be interested in hearing more about that.
Oh, they are fascinating and little understood creatures, thought extinct for centuries. Now they seem to be making a comeback. The Nevarrans wrote extensively on breeding and nesting behavior, but high dragon hunting patterns have never been studied. I would be most interested if you come across any Gurn corpses that might be victims of dragon attacks.
We'll have to speak some other time.
That Fred whatever walked through those bandits. Don't think so. He's useless.
We'll be back to the Hissing Waste. There's more to do. But for now, for this segment, we're going to go back to Skyhold.
Committed to independence, I hear. Shame.
I know.
A way with words, too.
Shame.
Those two are obsessed with your love life. Once you start courting someone, they start talking about it.
I tracked that Venatori mage back to Adamant Fortress. They're looking at assault options now in the war room.
Thanks for coming.
You did well, Varric. The Inquisitor is just who we need.
Oh, it's been great. Murderous Wardens, archdemon attacks, plenty of blood mages and crazy Templars. Just like home.
I know how much you hated leaving Kirkwall.
This is the ass end of Thedas. You know they eat snails here? Still, I think I need to finish this out. If it weren't for me and Bartrand, none of this would have happened. So much for changing our lives.
That's what happens when you try to change things. Things change. You can't always control how.
That's going to wrap things up for this one, but I will see you guys later in the next segment where we're going to continue where we left off.